everybody, and welcome back to another Thursday of Bite-Sized Media, a subsidiary, or what was it?
It's actually subsidiary.
That's right, of Slate Media. I am Jared, this is Jake, and today we're going to be watching another episode of Star Wars Visions, where each week is a different animation studio. This is the 5th episode. This episode is called The Ninth Jedi. It is animated by Production IG. Have you ever heard of Production IG?
That sounds familiar, actually.
They animated one of your favorite shows of all time.
Demon Slayer? No. It is Digimon, isn't it?
Well, I'm not there yet. No, like one of your favorite anime. I'm looking for others.
Blood Plus?
Yes, they animated Blood Plus. It says 50 episodes. Does that sound right?
Yes!
So it's probably going to be that style. I'm looking at other things they've done.
I'm excited.
They did a second season of a Ghost in the Shell show. I'm trying to see if anything other, because that I recognize. Is Blood C anything Blood Plus related?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they did that.
Is it got episodes? It might be the second one.
It says 12 episodes, but they collaborated with Clamp, it says. Let's see. Okay. Here's another one they did that's big. Haikyuu. That's the volleyball one, right?
Volleyball thing. Yeah,
they've done 85 episodes of that. They did Attack on Titan Junior High. There's a pretty big studio compared to what we've had so far, I believe. Oh, real quick, what's an OVA?
It's basically an extra animation that's released in home video format.
There's a bunch of those.
There is an actual acronym that stands for, but I can't think of what it is.
They also did Furikuri, however you say that. FLCL. How do you say it?
Furikuri?
Yeah, they also did that. With
I am excited for
with
this.
Gainax. Let's see. Batman Gotham Knight is another one. Halo Legends. Pokemon Origins. What's an ONA?
Are you talking about
It said OVA.
games?
That's what it's saying. That was OVA. This is ONA. We're going in depth here because there's a lot.
Original video animation. Wow, that was really simple.
Yeah, let's see films if there's anything. Ghost in the Shell. A couple Evangelion movies. They did work on End of Evangelion.
ONA is original net animation.
Okay. They did some animation on the first Kill Bill. They did the second Ghost in the Shell.
What animation is there in the first Kill Bill?
There's a segment of there's a backstory of one of the characters that's done in animation. I remember it now.
I don't remember it. It would have to be Lucy Liu, right?
Yeah, that's the character. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. They did The Deer King a couple years ago. This year, they did the Haikyuu movie. Of course, the dumpster battle that just came out as of recording this a month ago. So, yeah, I've spent 3 minutes talking about everything they've done just because there's so much.
I am excited.
So, yeah, the Ninth Jedi, again, we don't know anything about the episodes, so we're kind of going off of the animators and animation studios that we've seen, and that's about all I got for this intro. You have anything you want to add before we watch?
I want to watch Blood Plus now.
All right, we'll do that sometime.
Soon.
Sometime. But until then, let's
take a bite.
Welcome back, everyone. We just watched The Ninth Jedi.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I was wondering while we were watching, I was like, he's going to say it. He's going to say how much he loves it just because it reminds him of stuff he loves.
It does, too. Is that wrong of me, though?
No, it makes just makes perfect sense.
Not even that, though. It's just actually good. I honestly think it's probably one of the better ones that we've watched so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least as far as being a filled out story.
It takes the mythology of the universe and makes it more of a key part of the story, where I feel like a lot of modern Star Wars, or what's unfortunately what a lot of the haters now call Disney Star Wars, I don't feel the spiritual connection of it like older properties of it have, just because they lean more into the modern action sci-fi landscape we see, whereas this one, it's much more spiritually done. I like that a lot.
Although, I don't. These are supposed to take place in non-canon sort of spins on the universe.
Yep.
So it makes sense then that all the lightsabers would be eradicated, because those were viewed as the source of power for the Jedi. So
yep.
It took me a second to remind myself of that, because we haven't really talked about that in an episode. And so I'm sitting there watching on all of the lightsabers are gone. That doesn't really make sense. But it does.
Yeah, well, I think he explained it. I mean, there was a lot of exposition to start in that narration.
I'm happy for that narration, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it just put you in it where, like, the rest of them have, it kind of would be...
Yeah. Oh, it's necessary. It's not me saying it's bad or anything. It's like, it's just a lot at first for us to go, oh, okay, I got to be paying super close attention.
I got to pay attention. Shoot,
yep.
It can't be dumb Star Wars.
Yep, and it's kind of cool how he's like, he's a swordsmith, and he's like hammering on the kyber crystal a little bit. I get what they're doing. I also think about like those Clone Wars episodes about the younglings finding their kyber crystal in the old cave, and how like that's why it's hard to get lightsabers, because that's probably destroyed. Because they used to call to you, and this isn't canon, but remember, don't they say, like, you're in the cave?
No, they do. You go in.
You go into the cave.
There's a Jedi. You go into a Jedi temple, which is usually associated with a cave, or you go to the Jedi home planet, which I don't remember what it's called at the moment. And there is a cave of kyber crystals, and they call to you, which is one of the main points of Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay.
The Empire has gotten there and eradicated all of the kyber crystals, except for, ironically and conveniently for the plot, one.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the angle of this of setting it up as kind of like an old school, like almost like fairy tale type setup. I don't know what what I mean. It's like a classic setup of the world, but with the technology of it.
With the way that narration started, it kind of surprised me that there was a daughter.
Yeah.
Or just a child in general.
Yeah, but it was cool that, the whole, they explain really quickly and easily with the exposition of the length and color are you. And I'm not saying they haven't explained that in other properties, but I like how they explain it.
I like that because that's a real piece of lore. Like, it's not entirely detached from canon. Or what it has been said to be canon. Yeah,
and that's just cool. It's like, if you're a larger person, you're probably going to have a longer blade. Depending on who you are, the color changes.
But I also like that she could extend the blade and shorten it at will, which, I'm sorry, beats out Gunsaber. It does.
Ezra's Gunsaber.
It does. Gunsaber is sick. But that is so much more useful.
Yeah. Didn't really see the little twist of most of those Jedi being Sith, because,
they said it.
I don't remember them.
They said it in the exposition. Remember, I said, wait, didn't he say something about being Sith?
I don't remember. Again, it was a lot of information.
He said it at the very end that there was a Sith set up to take over what he was trying to do, but they didn't super make it clear about whether or not it was him, whether it was Musgrave or whatever his name is, or if it was something else. So I was confused about if Musgrave was bad.
Yeah, now that I remember, it kind of makes it sound like there's like one infiltrator, but it ends up being most of them. Mm-hmm. And that moment when they all turn them on and they're red,
intense.
I was like, oh no. And the one guy, of course, they all have these like,
which is funny,
these like Japanese names, and then he's Ethan. That was pretty funny. And then Margrave, it says.
Margrave
Juro.
Musgrave?
Yeah.
That's a skateboarder.
Yeah, and leaves it open-ended, it's just kind of, it's like a setup for a bigger thing while also kind of completing a small story of the girl is the ninth Jedi to help set up the new Jedi Order. Like, it's a cool thing for how much we talk about how we're sick of Sith and Jedi, because it's always a big thing in Star Wars.
This is different,
But
though,
this
because
is-
it's attacking it from different angles. It's
Yep.
not, well, let's see who survived the Jedi, or let's see who survived Order 66. Let's see who's the next Skywalker.
Yeah, it's more of a let's go way, way, way further in the timeline and kind of play with this notion of, okay, they are trying to set this back up, and there's going to be pushback and troubles to get over.
Yeah.
They're not just going to willy-nilly start it again. And again, if this, give me a series. Fifth episode now, we've said that, probably just give me a series. This is more interesting than just about everything they've made in the last
I know. I've not
decade.
watched The Acolyte.
I haven't either, and I've also not seen Andor.
Do you have to watch Andor to understand The Acolyte?
No, but those are the two shows I haven't seen, and
would-
people say Andor is good. They're not saying that about The Acolyte, but it's review bombed, so
Yeah,
I don't know who to
also
believe.
a woman is the protagonist in
That's
that.
the other part of it, yeah.
So you're going to have to color me just a little bit suspicious of that.
Yeah, this one, the protagonist is a woman, and people seem to love it.
People love anime women. People don't like real women.
That's true. That's true. I didn't think about it like that.
I'm not joking at all, and it is the saddest and most frustrating thing about media. Well, one of the saddest things and most frustrating about media. There, I got it out. But people like anime women. They don't like actual women.
Now that you say it, yeah, that is pretty frustrating and sad.
Yeah, it is. 100%. Now, this girl was badass. The girl in Furikuri is badass. Saya in Blood Plus, badass. I can think of several movies where the female protagonist is also badass. Here, I'm going to say it. Rey is badass.
Yeah.
Fight me.
You could get into it's a whole conversation. It's a whole podcast series of just about those movies and those characters. Because it's like, do I like Rey? Yes. Does Rey kind of just do everything pretty easily and pretty powerfully pretty quickly? Yeah.
Does it matter? Does Luke kind of do everything kind of easily and pretty powerfully?
No, he gets his butt kicked.
Not all the time.
That first movie, he's kind of thrown around. Second movie, then he gets his arm cut off. I'm not trying to say that Rey doesn't have a compelling storyline or isn't a good character. I do think, though, because those three movies are not a complete story, Rey's power scale doesn't have consistency, and that's not her. That's not the character's fault.
That's fair. But don't you defame Daisy Ridley?
Oh no! Like again, she didn't do anything wrong, and the character's fine. It's just they didn't know how to write any of these characters. Finn has like nothing to do in that third movie at all. And he is technically the main character in the first movie.
That's fair.
We start with him. He's like the whole reason things happen. And then by the end of the second one, he's just not doing anything. And it's really sad.
He has a gambling problem by the end of the second one.
Yeah. And then he fights Chrome Dome. Yeah, see, we don't have to worry about talking about Star Wars in this series because it is Star Wars.
Woo! Yeah. Let's get some more female-led Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the other comment you said real quick is, you said it's funny how it's been like 20 years since Blood Plus, and the animation looks similar.
Does it say when Blood Plus? I'm guessing like 2002.
It was like
2003.
I'm gonna guess 2005.
That makes sense.
I gotta scroll all the way up though. There's a lot. Let's see. Blood Plus, where are you? There's Blood C. Blood Plus. Oh, I missed it. 2005 to 2006.
Okay, so yeah, it's been legitimately almost 20 years. You can tell that the style is different, but in like the way that shadows are animated, in the way their faces move, in the way that Kara holds the sword and fights, specifically in the way Kara holds the sword and fights when they're going through the woods, like that's my Blood Plus people right there.
Is it akin to people you haven't seen in a while when they're like a kid, and then like 10 years passes and they're an adult, and you're like, I can still see the kid. It's a different person, but I can still see that it's them.
Now, to be fair, it has been a tumultuous 20 years. So we don't know how many people that made Blood Plus are still at that studio when this was made.
Yeah.
But you can tell that it's there.
Like the head animators are probably, if not the exact same, pretty much the same.
I don't know about that they at least have a hand in direction, I would say.
Yeah.
But like you could tell that it's born from the same people.
Because I think it's usually you have again, neither of us are animators. I think it's set up, you have a small team of head animators who like get assigned characters, and then you have teams of people that do backgrounds and in-betweens. So that's why a lot of times styles are the same, because it's the same group of people that are in charge of what the look and style is, and everyone else is filling in what you've created.
It's also just hard to imagine that they'd be in that role for 20 years.
But let's say they started at Production IG in like their 20s or 30s. Like they'd be younger than both of our parents. Like it makes sense. It's good job. It's doing what you love, and hopefully they're all treated well. Which, I mean, if you're a head animator in an animation studio, you're probably treated well. Hopefully, but it is a nice cushy job.
I'm gonna speak out of I don't know, but I'm guessing because it is an outside of America studio. They are treated quite a bit better, because I think the laws are different. It's almost like we should have laws that protect our workers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. That was the 9th Jedi. Production IG again did the animation. Very, very well known, busy, been around a while. Any other closing thoughts on the episode?
I love it. I think it's honestly the best. And then at the end, they burned that dude alive in the Kyber crystal. It knew that he was Bad News Bears.
I mean, you looked down for a second right at the moment the first death happened.
I did.
Like you looked at your phone right as he sliced the little guy in half. Like,
no, I saw that.
And then he just goes like that. Okay. Because I was like, oh. And then they cut another one like wide open. I was like, oh. And then they barbecued the last dude. I go, oh.
I remember when War Greymon did that to Machine Dramon.
I didn't understand any of that. Anyway, anything else to say?
I love it. When it turned upside down and it was the tower was the lightsaber hilt.
We did the Leo point.
That was cool.
It's a lightsaber.
It did the thing.
Yep. Anyway, next week, 6th episode is called T0B1. Animated by Science Saru or Saru.
It's a droid episode. Those are the worst.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, we'll see how it turns out. Jake, though, until then, where can they find us?
Oh, well, you can find us here on Thursdays. And if between then you want to find more of us, you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter,
now known as X,
Instagram, the super funny TikTok. And then if you want to listen just as a podcast, you can check us out on Apple, Spotify, Google, anywhere you get your podcasts, anywhere you find your socials. Check us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, hit the bell, get notified when we release new videos. Maybe, at some point we'll find a permanent co-host with us. What do you think? Should we do that?
Yeah.
R.I.P. Dickie. Anyway, other than that, until next week, let's
take a
bite.